We are in the final stretch of our Thanksgiving dinner on the morning show, and we save the best side for last.
Lena is out in the Publix kitchen this morning trying to warm things up with some hot mac and cheese. Lena, there was a special request to get this one on the menu.
It is. You know, good morning, Vic and Lauren. I think mac and cheese for a lot of people, all the different kinds, are typically their favorite dishes during Thanksgiving. So, Chef Dwayne, so you're going to walk us through the particular mac and cheese that we're making right now, but we know that mac and cheese comes in a bunch of different sizes, flavors. So talk to me about the different kinds you can have wind up on your table this Thanksgiving.
Well, what we're making today is kind of a quick mac and cheese. It's really perfect if you're going to eat soon, which we are all going to gather together soon. So all we're doing is reducing heavy cream, and that is our base. There's no additional add-ins, flours, or anything else.
Okay.
But if you were going to make ahead, or if you wanted to bake your mac and cheese, then you would start with a roux or a bechamel, which would be butter and flour, and you kind of cook that down and then add in your heavy cream. It would just help it from not breaking if you were to bake it in the oven. It's going to sit for a while. But since we're just making a super creamy mac from scratch, all this is heavy cream. We've added some fresh thyme. We're going to add the white cheddar, which you got in your hand.
Okay, let me add a little bit of white cheddar. Okay.
Or a lot.
Oh, I love cheese.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is mac and cheese.
You need any more?
Oh, then we're going on. No, we measured it. We're
thing?
using the whole thing.
I probably should have done it a little bit more slower to help you ease into the stir. I'm sorry.
Right.
Well, you know,
I could have brought a bigger pan, too.
Well, but you're a professional, so you got a good wrist movement. So we were talking about just before the break, there is a special ingredient that's in here. Tell me what that is and what does it do for the mac and cheese?
Well, we've added it to the Brussels sprouts earlier as well, but we like to use fresh ground nutmeg anytime we're doing a heavy cream dish. It makes it a little Frenchy, a little European, a little fancy. Gives it a little extra aromatic note.
Now I've been to France and I never saw no nutmeg on mac and cheese, but I like that. Let me see.
You smell that?
Oh,
yep.
Smells like holidays.
Another trick is to take a little fresh garlic and go right back over the microplane there.
Garlic too?
Yeah, you won't actually see or know that that's in there other than a little tiny hint of garlic in there.
Now I will say this is a first for me because see, I'm born and raised in South Carolina and I have never seen garlic in a mac and cheese. Oh, it's okay. I'll hold it down for you. This is different. Okay, so adding those flavors, what can we expect when we sit down at the table to eat? What is that going to add to the mac and cheese?
Well, it's going to go real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Real quick?
Yep. In fact, that's the number one thing that goes wrong with mac and cheese. You don't make enough.
You never make enough.
No.
So once you add in all of these, how long do you let this cook on top of the stove?
It's done. This is done. We're going to cover it. It's going to be ready to go.
It took us to do a live hit?
Absolutely. You can see the cheese is already melted. In about 5 minutes, that's going to be fully incorporated. May add a little bit more heavy cream right before we serve it, but otherwise...
And I didn't even have to get my hands dirty. Look at all that cheese.
We can't go wrong with that.
Oh, we don't have anybody that's lactose. It's not going to be cute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
So my question here is him saying, you know, for a lot of us making mac and cheese, you really start with that roux, that flour and butter. And he said he started with just cream. Can you ask him for me, because you're putting so much of that harder cheese, that it kind of fills it up and that's why it thickens it for... I have a lot of follow-up questions. So
Lauren in the studio wants to know, since we started off with that heavy cream base and you're adding cheese, you said you want to know how thick...
Is it going to thicken it up and that's why you're not using a roux in lieu?
Oh, she said, is that going to naturally thicken it up instead of using a roux on top of the stove?
Absolutely, and that's why you want to eat it now, because if it sits here, it gets cold.
Then it's separate. Okay.
It's going to get super firm again. The cheese
Gotcha.
will firm up.
So that's why it's easy, quick mac, and that's why you use the heavy cream. You get it ready to go, dump it on a plate, and then people can have refills of this because you can make it even quicker if it runs out.
Absolutely.
Okay, there's a little bit. Let's just make sure we don't want to leave no cheese behind. All right, well, we will have more coming up for you. We got the cranberry sauce, we got the mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, apple pie. Oh, we just got so much delightful things coming up. So I'm gonna toss it back to you all in the studio.
What about that fireball? Lena, are we gonna mention that fireball?
The fireball. Oh, that's not my segment. I'm gonna leave that to the next person. All right, bye.
That appeared, that was not out there when I was there.
I look over and there's 2 full bottles of Fireball. Lena, yeah, we know what you're putting in your mac and cheese.
We're gonna make sure that it's still closed off and she hasn't taken any away. I know that you asked a really intelligent question I couldn't ask anything. I was just like,
I know you make fun of me that Lauren will burn down the kitchen, but fun facts, my dad was a chef and taught me how to cook growing up. So that's why, you know, mac and cheese was a huge staple in our Thanksgiving. And I learned, listen, you put your roux, which is flour and butter, and that's what thickens up your mac and cheese. So a lot of questions.
look at that.
I know.
Wow.
You make fun of me. JFRD already texted me saying they're on standby. I said, no need. No need.
I was wrong. Cherish that.